this is as real as it gets.
Hey, this is Marcia Prince, IFBB Bikini Pro and Guest Berry Nutrition spokesmodel, and you are listening to the UCW radio show, In Your Face.
The number you have reached, 911, has been changed to a non-published number.
You're listening to UCW Radio.
In your face.
Give it to me, baby.
Alright, welcome to the UCW radio show, and this is a show where we feature celebrities, notables, authors, sports legends, and up-and-comers. Bottom line is we feature some inspirational people in their own right, and we share those stories with our listeners. Now, before we bring on our next guest, I want to remind our listeners to take the time to catch a few great shows that are growing in popularity. One's on Spike TV. It's called To Catch a Contractor with Adam Carolla and Skip and Allison Bedell. That's a great show, and they're going to be going into the next season soon. They'll be filming soon. The $1 Million Contractor on DIY and the HGTV network. That's with Stephen Fanuca. All right, great show. You gotta, definitely check that out, and you can see the amazing work that he does. George the Rescue on NBC with George Oliphant, and that is another great show. They're helping people. They go and they do it every week in and week out. You definitely have to check it out. And lastly, Megadens on the DIY network. That's with Anitra Megadon, and that's a great show too. She transforms these areas into amazing situations for the homeowner. She's done stuff inside, outside, this side, that side, and just an amazing person. And look, they're all great people doing some awesome things out there. So check out all those shows, and trust me, you won't be disappointed. Now, with that said, our next guest is doing some awesome things out there as well, and I'm honored to have him on the show. So without further ado, let's bring on Frankie, a.k.a. Future Legend, on the show. All right, we're here with Frankie, a.k.a. Future Legend, and he's the founder of the clothing brand Underground Clown. Frankie, welcome to the UCW radio show. How are you?
I'm good, Lou. How are you, sir?
Pretty good, thank you. Pretty good. Just, I'm excited to have you on here. We have a lot of interesting things to actually speak about.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff going on with my brand. Thank God. I can see the growth with it.
Well, let's start with how did you start Underground Clown? Maybe that's where we should start so that we can tell the story, because I want our listeners to get the whole gist of what it is that you're doing, because it's not a T-shirt line per se. There's a lot more to it, so I want them to get the whole story behind this. So let's start at the beginning. What brought you to start Underground Clown?
Well, back in 2007, I started the Underground Clown clothing label, basically to pay homage and keep my boy Corey Pelzer, who was murdered in 2001, keep his name alive and just do good, positive things through charity. He was always like a flashy, flamboyant kid. Not saying he would have been in the world of fashion, but that's what he was into. So, the best way, coming from being in custom cars my whole life, I came up with a logo, my Underground Clown logo, and it was really popular. I put on a T-shirt during 2007 at the Funkmaster Flex Star Show, and that one T-shirt, a lot of people went to buy it. I said, wow, I might have something good here where I can raise some money, do charity work, and keep my boy alive. So hence that birthed the Underground Clown, and I just started a label off of that. It's more like Brooklyn Honda GT shirt.
Okay.
And that's how it all started, basically.
All right. Well, we're gonna roll back a little bit because those are the broad strokes of how you develop Underground Clown, and just for those that are listening, it's Underground Clown has the brand Future Legend, and that's what we're gonna be getting into. But you mentioned your friend Corey Pelzer. If you don't mind, can you just go a little bit further into that, because I think that our listeners would want to know. You kind of launched Underground Clown because of him, but there were extenuating circumstances around what happened to him.
Well, I mean, Corey was around me from the time he was 13 until the time he was around 22, right before his passing. Basically, me and his older brother grew up together, and Corey's a really good kid. I mean, he used to come by the shop, and we used to, like, excuse me, have him do odds and ends, little errands and stuff like that to kind of keep him away from, the bad, growing up in the wrong way. He was really a great kid. I mean, in 2000, I ended up selling my property and closing my first shop and taking a little time off. So Corey ended up having taking a job in Kings Plaza. And he had a little incident with people trying to shoplift. He notified store security. They were arrested. There were some threats made to him. Although we can't point fingers at those people, but about a week shy of his 23rd birthday, he was on his way home on a B-82 bus in Canarsie, and somebody walked up on the bus. As it was approaching a stop, pulled out a 9mm, shot him in the face. Conveniently, walks off the bus to an awaiting SUV. And, nobody on the bus seen anything. To this day, his murder still is cold and unsolved. I mean, he's my motivation, why I started my brand, why I'll never stop doing what I do. And, I mean, honestly, the loss of a friend like that, you're with every day for a 10-year period. I can't even put into words, how much I miss my boy, every single day. I'm just reminded of him every day.
No, and my condolences for that. It's never easy losing someone, but to lose someone under those circumstances is pretty hard. And he wasn't just your friend. He was your brother for all intents and purposes, your little brother.
Yeah, he's the little brother that I never had.
Right.
He was with me every single day.
But you made it a point to keep his memory alive. You made it a point to keep this thing going. That's why you started Underground Clown. And it's interesting how you started with one purpose, but it actually blossomed into something bigger. And you probably didn't even expect that to happen.
No, I mean, through the UGC label, I mean, every dollar that I had coming in, I would donate to various charities. And through that, we created one shirt. I mean, simple, distressed font, that Future Legend. That one shirt would always sell out. Every store that carried our brand or on the website, that one particular shirt would always sell out. So, I mean, I kind of feel like, for all the good deeds I've done, keeping my boy alive, I feel like that was a gift from him giving me back something. And I firmly believe that, I'm not the smartest guy in the world, so I'm giving my boy all the credit in the world. I feel like he gave me Future Legend, to me, for always keeping him alive,
And
I just want, glory,
I just want to just kind of expand on something. Now, the money that you were receiving from selling the shirts from Underground Clown, you were donating all that money to charity?
Yeah, basically, I didn't take any profit out of it. I would donate to numerous charities, breast cancer awareness, with the Bikers of Brooklyn every year, Our Lady of Solace, a church locally in the neighborhood where me and Corey grew up in Coney Island, muscular dystrophy events. You name it, if there was a good cause, I gave to it. I mean, we didn't just put one charity ahead of others. Anything that we could do to try to make a difference, give back, and that's what we did.
Well, let me ask you this. Yeah, and this is going to be a ridiculous question, but I have to ask because the question on people's minds is why? Beyond your friend passing away, why? What's your end game with that? What were you looking to accomplish when you started doing that? And actually, what made you start to donate?
I mean, listen, when Corey was killed, I mean, I'm not going to lie, of course, we wanted to seek out, revenge on whoever did it, if we knew who did it. But, as I got a little older and the pain of losing him wore off a little bit, also growing as a man, I said, man, I can't seek vigilante justice. I got to do the right thing, give back, make a difference. You don't do negative with negative. From negative, I want to be positive. Show the people that you're never too old to start something. You're never too old to chase your dream. And, as far as giving back, most people are driven by greed. I have a successful body shop. I've had it. This is my 21st year in business. I didn't need to start that. It's something, not for money, I should say. It's something I had to do and have to continue to do to keep him alive, because the only way Corey can live on is through my deeds. And I was hoping with the success of UGC, which honestly it wasn't that successful of a brand other than spurning the Future Legends show, but through the success of Future Legends, when we make enough money, put a reward, do something where hopefully the people that are responsible for his murder can be brought to justice. And even if, God forbid, they're dead from an act of violence or whatever the case may be, or in jail, at least his mom and pops could have closure. For all these years, his pops is sick now on dialysis. His nephews are grown up. They're grown men, two of them already. They need to have closure. They need to know why a 22-year-old kid who never even had the chance to take, like we take this for granted. Like, I don't know, LeBron James. This kid never even, he don't even know who LeBron James was. He never got that chance to see that. They need that closure and know why his life was taken.
Oh, yeah.
This is why I will always continue to do it.
Well, I'm sure that, his father, it's sad to hear that he's not doing well now, but I'm sure that he must question, or think about. He's never met the son that he could have had, the son that would have been a father, where he could have, done a lot of things in his life. He never met that man, and that's tough. That's a tough pill to swallow, but fortunately you're doing something to keep the memory alive, and in a good way, where a lot of people would do, ridiculous things and out of anger. But at least you were smart enough that you spun this into a situation where you can actually grow something to do good for other people and pay it forward. And, we've spoken about that before. Paying it forward is a big thing with me, and it seems like it's a big thing with you.
You always got to give back. Listen, I could open up my body shop at any location. I chose to stay in Coney Island, stay here in my neighborhood. As I said, now with, my two partners both being successful fighters, Silver, formerly UFC, and now Bellator, Paul Malignaggi. Like I said, we could have easily relocated here, myself and Paul, our shop, but we chose to stay here and give back to our neighborhood. We're all from New York. Still now is in the West Coast, but me and Paul are still here. We just want to show people that, no matter how successful you can be, stay true to yourself and always give back to your neighborhood. Because, if we don't, who else is going to do it? We can't rely on anybody else. We can't rely on the government to say things. I don't think so anyway. It's got to start from the people who live in the community. We have to give back. We have to be role models.
That's what you guys are doing, it's going back to the brand, but just even with business, when kids in the neighborhood, and it's a New York thing. You go to Coney Island, you have a lot of, kids over there that are lost. They see someone that is successful in what they do, and especially you're talking about, auto body. Some kids get excited about that, and they can make a career. Maybe they'll get a reality show. You don't know. You really don't know.
Yeah.
But it's good that you're doing that. And in a little while we're going to take a break, and we're going to go into what else is going on with your brand and you and everything else. But I want to take this time for you to tell us a little something more about Future Legend itself. When you created that shirt, when you created that logo, okay, what made you want to do that? The Future Legend. What made you want to create that logo? What made you want to, just create the name Future Legend?
Like I said, I got lucky with that name. I just happened to see a store in Manhattan while I'm stopped in traffic, and I put two words together, and, I'm like, wow, that's a Future Legend. I put it in this distressed South font, meaning, future legends aren't there yet, so it's kind of breaking through. I mean, and like I said, I got really, really lucky. I mean, nobody had copywritten or trademarked that, and I don't know how or why. But, I mean, as I said, I kind of feel like that was a gift from Corey, guiding me to that. But I can't even believe it. It's kind of surreal that I was able to do that. It's such a simple thing, future legend. I would have thought that for sure somebody else would have done it before.
Yeah, well,
I really love it.
I mean, it's interesting because I deal with a lot of notables, a lot of legends per se, in either martial arts, boxing, kickboxing, things of that nature. And there was a legendary fighter called Joe Louis, and what he said, don't call me a legend, because when you're a legend, that means you're dead. Okay, so you're using the distress font future legend, is appropriate. Because really, when are you a legend? You become a legend when you're done. I mean, I think that's when that's pretty much when that moniker comes around to you. The legend title hits someone. So I think you did good with that, and I think you probably got lucky with the name.
Yeah, really lucky with that.
Well, what we're gonna do right now, Frankie, and actually before we take the break, I want our listeners to understand too is that Future Legend is not just a brand. You actually did something legally, and we didn't talk about that at the beginning of the show. You did something legally, so why don't you let the listeners know exactly what you did?
Well, as I said before, I have so much passion for my brand and for what I'm trying to do. It's not just a brand. I want to start a movement, through positive things, being able to give back and being a role model and helping out the younger generation. But I legally changed my name to Future Legend. I mean, my father gave me my given name. So my father, meant a lot to him, give me a name as a newborn. But I have so much passion for my brand and what I've started, and for what I see my brand to be in the next 5 years, I legally changed my name. How much I believe in my company. I eat, sleep, breathe, everything I do for my brand and my company.
Well, how cool is it when you're going, when you're at DMV or you're waiting to be called for your seat at the restaurant? Say, Mr. Legend, Mr. Legend. It's pretty funny, but actually TSA is always the best. TSA, I can't tell you how many times I've went through TSA traveling the last few years, where, I mean, I don't want to get into trouble, but they kind of just let me go through it. They're kind of laughing at the name, and they don't believe it's real, where they'll the guy go right through it. Don't worry about it. It's pretty funny. Yeah, well,
it's always TSA agents. They always stop me. It's always funny.
I'm sure you have some good stories with that. All right, well, we're going to do now, Frankie. I'm going to call you Frankie for the remainder of the show, just so that it just kind of flows with what we started out with. But we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to be back with Frankie, a.k.a. Future Legend, on the UCW radio show, so stay with us.
You ready? Let's go! Yeah. For those of you that want to know what we're all about, it's like this, y'all. This is 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, 50% pain, and 100% reason to remember the name. He doesn't need his name up in lights, he just wants to be heard, whether it's the beat of the mic. He feels so unlike everybody else, alone, in spite of the fact that some people still think that they know him, but fuck him, he knows the code. It's not about the salary, it's all about reality and making some noise, making a story, making sure his click stays up. That means when he puts it down, Tox picking it up. Let's go. Who the hell is he anyway? He never really talks much, never concerned with status, but still even him starstruck. Humble through opportunities given despite the fact
that many misjudge me cause he makes a living from writing raps. Put it together yourself, now the picture connects. Never asking for someone's help or to get some respect. He's only focused on what he wrote. His will is beyond reach, and now it all unfolds. The skill of an artist. This is 20% skill, 80% fear. Be 100% clear, cause Ryu was ill. Who would've thought he'd be the one that set the West in flames? And I heard him wreck it with the crystal method, name of the game. Came back, dropped Megadeth, took him to church. I like Bleach, man. Ryu had the stupidest verses, dude is the truth. Now everybody giving them guest spots and stocks through the roof. I heard he fucking with that guy.
10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, 50% pain, and 100% reason to remember the name.
They call him Ryu, he's sick and he's spitting fire. And Mike got him out the dryer, he's hot. Found him in Fort Minor with top, but a fucking nihilist porcupine. He's a prick, he's a cock. The type women wanna be with, and rappers hope he gets shot. 8 years in the making, patiently waiting to blow. Now the record with your notice taking over the globe. He's got a partner in crime, this shit is equally dope. You won't believe the kind of shit that comes out of this kid's throat. He's not your everyday on the block. He knows how to work with what he's got, making his way to the top. He don't think it's a comment on his name. People keep asking him, was it given that birth that doesn't stand for an acronym? No, he's living proof. Let him rock in the booth. He'll get you buzzing quicker than a shot of vodka with juice. Him and his crew are known around as one of the best. Dedicated to what they do and give 100%.
Forget Mike, nobody really knows how or why he works so hard. It seems like he's never got time because he writes every note, he writes every line. And I've seen him at work when that light goes on in his mind. It's like a design is written in his head every time before he even touches the key or speaks in a rhyme. And those motherfuckers he runs with, the kids that he signed, ridiculous, without even trying. How do they do it? This is 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, 50% pain, and 100% reason to remember the name. This is 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, 50% pain, and 100% reason to remember the name. Fort Minor, M. Shinoda, styles of beyond. Ryu, Talk Beer, Machine Shop.
Alright, and we're back with the CEO of Underground Clown, Frankie, aka Future Legend, and that is his real name, people. Future Legend. How cool is that, Mr. Legend? Alright, Mr. Legend, welcome back to the second segment of the show. Why don't you, this segment, why don't you tell us what's going on with Future Legend and, sports, boxing, stuff like that, because you have a lot of stuff going on that we have not even touched on.
Well, basically, in boxing, one of my partners is Floyd Masterman Malignaggi, who's worn Future Legend in his fight in 2009. Basically, thank God we've been, I could say 10 times over, we've been blessed, having Paul wear it as our brand ambassador in the beginning before we were partners, has spurned us into now working with most of Floyd Mayweather's guys on the money team. Good friends with Batu Jack and Jalen Love and Lamel Bellows and Cuba Arias. They all wear Future Legend ring attire. The ring, Peter Quillen's helped out and wore in the past, John Duddy. So, we've had a lot of big names in boxing wear it. As far as Bellator MMA goes, our other partner, Phil Baroni, he got me into MMA with a good buddy of his, Jason Ron. And over the last couple of years, we have just become like the tap out of Bellator. Every week you see us on some of the best fighters. Bellator has to offer War Machine, Mike Richmond, Marcus Albo, Brett Cooper. As I said, it's like we don't call it even sponsorships. We call it a family because we have relationships with all of these fighters. Felipe Nova, formerly of UFC and Bellator. Phil's also a Brooklyn guy. These people always come by the shop. Marcus Albo comes here. So it's more of a family thing. It's not a sponsorship. They come into the office. They hang out at venues. We eat together. Ryan Martinez from Bellator. I mean, I do Jack when I go out to Vegas. We're with them all the time. I mean, like I said, we made it a family atmosphere. It's not just a business for us. We kind of like it like that. We keep it like that. And we don't like to, being that both my partners are athletes, they know what it feels like to be burnt by sponsors. We're coming into a fight, they're promised to make X amount of money. Let's say they don't perform well or a fight doesn't go their way, they come out on the losing side. Some sponsorship companies don't pay them their money. A lot of times fighters don't have the money to hire legal teams to fight for their money for us. I mean, we would never do that. We know what it feels like to be on the other side. So we always like to help the fighter out. Help them with other sponsor deals, make sure they can make the most money they can without taking a dollar from them. We don't need the money. We just want them to make the most they can to take care of their families and perform well in the ring occasion.
So that's another way of you paying it forward.
Yeah, I mean, these guys, they go in there to entertain us as fans, and most fans don't realize, just because you're in the ring with, somebody at Paul's level doesn't mean you're making millions of dollars. By the time you pay your coaches and your trainers and your training camp and the flights and this and that, a lot of times they're not making a lot of money. Listen, some of these guys in those funds, they're not making but a couple thousand per fight. God forbid an injury. How do you feed your family? How do you continue to chase your dreams?
And that's a big problem.
Help them out. So we're all for it.
Well, Don King's not going to like what you're doing. But you know what? It's good that you're doing that, because I believe, and you're 100% right. People don't see; they see what they see on Spike TV, on pay-per-views, things of that nature. They don't see what happens behind the curtain, where you have these guys that may be fighting in UFC, that may be fighting the Bellator, where they're making ends meet by the skin of their nose, and some of them, most of them have other jobs because they have to.
Yeah.
You got to survive.
Gosh, I know so many fighters that are security guards, or they're working in the airline, or they're doing something else. People don't know that. They just see, well, wow, he's got a lot of money. He's on TV. He just fought this one or that one. They don't know. They're only fed what, the media tells them. They don't know the true story behind it. Or they don't realize, God forbid, an injury. These guys are not working for, let's say, Verizon or whatever, have health coverage. One of these guys breaks the foot, injures himself. Now he can't fight for a year. Can't train. How does he feed his family?
Well, it's going to be very hard to. Can't earn. If you can't earn a living, how are you going to go, what are you going to do? And this has been the problem in combat sports since the beginning of time. Okay, it's like you have the 1% that make it, and the 99% that are struggling along the way. And that's what happens. But, and again, and I'm going to repeat this. I don't want to sound redundant to our listeners, but, this is beyond a t-shirt brand. You have brands out there, and, like I'll say the names, like Tap Out. Okay, that is a brand. They have all this merchandise, everything else, but that was created as a brand. It wasn't created for any other reason but to actually market what they were doing. That's it. And they did well at it, and that's fantastic. They were the first company in MMA to have that marketing prestige and have that platform to actually do it. You did this, you created this for another reason whatsoever, and it looks like it's going really well for you.
Yeah, as I said, other brands started for different reasons. I know why mine was started, and I'll always stay true to myself and see what I'm doing behind the scenes. People on the outside looking in, Paulie Malignaggi, Phil Baroni, and some guy who fishes stars, they don't fish legend, or whatever the case may be. They don't know the inspiration of why that we keep doing it and why we keep grinding every day and hustling. It's not only about, my friend, murder. It's about reaching other kids and showing them, anybody can be a future legend. Be it the next Paul Malignaggi, the next LeBron James, or it could be the next heart surgeon. It could be the next, musician. It could be anybody. So that's the message also behind it. It's inspirational, motivational. I started my brand, at 35. Most people kind of, at 35, like, I'm pretty much done. I got my job. I'm working here or there. You know, I already got 15 years and I'm good. You know, I started a second career which I don't know nothing about at 35. So it's another thing where people, you know, you're never too old to chase, and not only chase but catch your dream and live your dream.
Yeah.
That's the message behind it.
And that's important. And I think, and I'm going to add on to your message. Okay, it's not just dreaming; it's actions on top of the dreams. Because, look, you can have a dream, but without actions, what are you doing? You're in fantasy land. You know, you're executing. Right. You're executing, and that is what inspires people. And that's why you're on this show right now, because I believe that, you know, and I knew, and I didn't know your story, but I knew there was something to it that would inspire people, inspire kids. That's our future. And this is what you and your partners are doing. You know, and, you know, tell us a little bit about your body shop, because I want people to know the funky stuff that you're doing over there in Brooklyn.
Well, I mean, I've always been in the body business for the last 20 years right at high school. We've been a staple of the community in Coney Island. We were Carousel Collision before, but now, since me and Paul have become partners in Future Legend, it's just so much easier for us to control everything out of our shop. Paul has come in partners here, and now our shop is Magic Man Customs. But my past in body shop, I mean, I've won Funkmaster Flex shows in 7, 8, 2010. I won exotic erotic car show in Jersey, and I've done suicide doors, Lambo doors, Phantom Moses, you name it, I've done it. Custom paint. I mean, that used to be so much of my passion behind it. I still have passion for that, but, you know, being blessed enough to have that and Future Legends, it's just twofold.
Well, you know, and
here as well as custom, we do regular insurance claims for all the major insurance companies.
Yeah, but you know, it's interesting how, you know, things just happen. And you mentioned about, you know, having a second, you know, second wind in life, and, you know, doing a career or getting involved in a business that you knew nothing about. You know, and it's stuff like that is what inspires people that have fell down to get back up, because it's never too late to actually go fulfill a dream, whatever it is. You know, and with your body shop, you know, I mean, a lot of people think that all the custom stuff is out west, but that's not true.
No, listen, we still get busy here on the East Coast. I mean, we've done work for a ton of celebrity products. As I said, you know, it's all about your approach to business too. I mean, you got to be honest and have integrity. You know, a lot of people in a lot of businesses, you know, that's why they lose business. For me, I always had a motto of not letting greed be my option. Money for me, I don't care about it. You know, everybody needs to survive, but you need to put people first. When you put people first, you're always blessed with business. When you put money first, you know, your business will decline. Everything in your life will decline. But for me, I always have people first. I mean, I have a relationship with customers I know since I'm 18, 20 plus years ago that still come here. Their kids now come here. So,
when you get trust from people,
life is not always about money.
Well, look, when you chase money, I say this all the time. You know, don't chase the money. The money is the easy part of the game. Or you chase the dream. You work hard for where you want to go and what you want to do. The money's going to come. If you're good at what you do, the money will come. And, you know, you're good at what you do, Frankie, and you're doing some great things with not only your body shop, but also with Future Legend and Underground Clown. You know, and I'm going to imagine that your brand is piece by piece going to build above just having T-shirts and some merchandise like that. I can see, you know, you guys coming out with gloves. I can see you coming out with pants, with this, with that, and everything else. I can see all this stuff happening. Why not?
Well, we're kind of all excited, myself, Paul, Phil. Our fall collection is it's actually designed by one of the best fashion designers in the game, Kevin Leong, who's the fast mom, baby fat.
Mm-hmm.
Big Sean, the Rappers, Brand Hora Gold. Kevin was took on our project. He liked what we're doing, the movement we're starting. So he built our fall collection. So have sweats, jackets. I mean, everything that we weren't doing before, Kevin's added in. I mean, hoping to place some boutiques in major chain stores this coming fall. I mean, also our documentary comes out this fall.
Yeah, well, we didn't even talk about that. We didn't talk about the documentary at all.
Yeah, the documentary. I mean, basically, it depicts the whole story of why I started the brand. It's the thing I'm most proud of in my life. It was kind of hard to film because I had to, visit Corey, his headstone deal with. I mean, me and his mom, we've always been close, but it's the first time that we've ever spoke about, his killing and what it meant to me and how, what the things I've done keeping him alive has meant to her. So it's, as I said, it's the thing I'm most proud of, but it was the hardest thing in my life to actually take part in film.
Because you relived it. You were reliving it.
Yeah, it was really a tough 7 weeks of filming.
And the thing is too, and I'll add this in. You don't even need to say it. The documentary is not about you. You're keeping.
Nothing I'm doing is about me.
No, but I want
to show the growth of me as a man, but
right.
Everything about it is showing, why this thing is so important to collectively. There's no I in team. My whole Future Legend team. I mean, when it goes out there, I mean, even people that may not be a fan of some of our designs, or they may feel a little too old to wear it or whatever, but it's gonna impact people, and I firmly believe that people are gonna rally behind it and want to support the brand. In addition to this, my feeling is that sometimes the media tries to pull people apart. My story is gonna pull people together. I mean, that's the whole message behind the documentary.
Right, and what I was going to say is that you doing the documentary, as you said, it's not about you, and even though it's about what happened to Corey, it's also a message, to people out there, to the youth, and to hopefully inspire them to want to do some good, because at the end of the day, everything that you're doing with Underground Clown, with Future Legend, is actually escalating to something bigger, and maybe that's because that's what's supposed to happen.
I'm a firm believer in karma, and give good, you get good. Most people think, you see a guy in the street that's down his luck, down and out, you give him $1 and you're supposed to get 10 told, you're supposed to get 10 back, I don't believe that. I believe that you do good deeds from your heart, not for a reward later, or not for monetary benefit. People often take that for granted. Oh, well, I gave a guy in the corner $20, whatever, I should get something good. You did get something good. Maybe when you were walking in the street, instead of turning right, you turn left. Instead you turn right, you might get 5 cars. So those are all things people seem to lose. They don't take that for anything.
Yeah, but
you can't take nothing in life for granted. Life's a beautiful gift. Most people take for granted. I cherish every second of it.
I agree with you. I mean, if people, when people do charitable things, let's say, giving someone something that needs something, that's a personal thing. You do it, you just move forward. There's no reason to go and publicize it. There's no reason, to go and say, oh, well, something should happen to me. The point is that you did it. You should feel good about it and go upon your day. I do things. I don't even think about it after everything's done, because it was, if somebody needed something, I was able to do something. I did it, end of story. That's it. Don't even thank me. Yeah, there you go. And that's how more people should be, and more people out there should do what you're doing. Not to the extent you're doing it, but just little steps. And you get enough people, taking little steps, then you have a movement. And that is what you're trying to spark, from what I see. And I think that's good stuff.
like every single day, I get up and days where everybody has aches and pains, everybody has days where they don't feel so well, they just want to pull the covers back over their head and not get out that day. But I have an agenda and I have a destiny to fulfill, and I already know what it is. I'm guided by my boy up there. He's pulling strings to me on a daily basis. So nothing, no obstacle is something that I can't hurdle. And honestly, I have a great team with me. So, when I first started this, it was me walking by myself. Now that they turn around, I'm not by myself no more.
And you won't be.
It's a great feeling to see that.
Well, that's a good thing, and you're going to have more and more of that. You're going to have more and more of that because you're doing this for the right reasons. And, I believe that it's going to be extremely successful. And, look, you have my support. And you're going to get more support out there. And, let's make this thing rock and roll. And it's going to happen. And you're doing it. You've already been doing it. But what I want to do, if you can, just let our listeners know how to find out more about you, about the documentary. If you have, your Twitter handle, Facebook, things of that nature, so they know how to keep in touch with your story and learn more about you.
Sure. On Twitter, you can follow @OneFutureLegend. Instagram is Future Legend Clothing. Our current site is futurelegend.co. The .com site will relaunch with our fall collection, along with the documentary, which should be on Netflix and iTunes within 90 days. And then through Netflix and iTunes, every single dollar, whoever buys the documentary, that will get donated towards gun violence. And basically, if you want to follow my Twitter, it's at UGC on Twitter. And our trailer's actually been on Twitter, and people can see it. It will be on the new website with a link to Netflix and iTunes, so they can purchase the full doc. God willing, probably September, we'll do a New York premiere of the documentary, and also enter in the film festival out there.
You know what? You do that, I'll be there. I'll be there. No doubt about it. I'll be there.
You'll be VIP next week.
There you go, brother, and I appreciate it. Look, Frankie, you're doing some great stuff, and as I said, you have my support. I want our listeners to go out there, support Future Legends, support Underground Clown. This is beyond a brand. There's a story behind it that should inspire people, should inspire a lot of the youth, should inspire adults, should inspire anyone to step up and do a little more out there for someone else, because it's not about giving a hand out, it's about giving a hand up. I talk about this all the time. Give a hand up, and trust me, you will do some good out there. Frankie, a.k.a. Future Legend, thank you for being on the show. And again, we're going to have you on because I'm going to want to get updates from you moving forward to find out what's going on with your brand, your shop, and everything else.
I appreciate that. I really do thank you from the bottom of my heart for a chance to talk about my brand in all facets. Both my partners, because they, of course, are always doing coverage for Sky and still training, but on the other hand, they both make it as well. We really appreciate the opportunity.
Well, there's nothing to thank me for. There's nothing to thank me for. You're doing the work, and I'm just, telling the story. So I thank you for doing what you're doing, Frankie, and your partners for doing what they're doing, because that's the stuff that inspires. And lastly, just make sure, listeners, go to futurelegend.co or futurelegend.com on Twitter. Go to OneFutureLegend and check them out, follow them, and show some support. Frankie, thank you so much.
Initiating shutdown sequence.
You're listening to UCW Radio. In your face.
What is your major malfunction?
So let it be written. So let it be done.
Ladies and gentlemen, my mother thanks you, my father thanks you, my sister thanks you, and I thank you.